to our second leader training, March 12th. We will be waiting for some people to pop on, so stay with me for 1 minute and then we will start. Half a minute to go and then we will start our leader training of today. Thank you very much for joining. So the last people are popping on. 10 minutes to go. Well, thank you very much for joining today. We will have a comprehensive agenda, but before we go to the agenda, first I want to go over some housekeeping items. I myself are Martijn Stuiver. I'm as part of the board of directors responsible for the chapters and 6 in worldwide level, and I'm very pleased that you will be joining us today for some new insights on our website using BrightTalk, as well as some very important updates on nominations, Knock on the Louder campaign, HP Discover Conference in Las Vegas, and of course the advanced training courses. But first, some housekeeping items for today. Today's session is a live session and it's intended for all Vivit leaders, and the recording will be posted directly after this meeting on our website as soon as possible, available for all Vivit leaders. If you have had any questions during this meeting, please use the question pane to type in your questions. Just to remember you of how it looks like, this is how the webinar control panel looks like. Just type in your questions. They usually appear in the upper right hand corner, the control panel, and then you can submit a question at the question pane, and we will receive it and we will address it as soon as one of our topics has been closed. Presenters of today are Laura Walker. She will talk a little bit more on the upcoming advanced training courses. We've got also with us John Bayer. He will tell us a little bit more about the board nominations. And we've got Stephanie Concoy online, and she will talk us through with the latest and greatest on how to use the Vivit website for your virtual and local events. Thank you very much for joining. Well, the agenda of today. First, Stephanie will dive into the group admin options of the Vivit website. Then we will have some room for from some questions and answers based on what you've seen and what Stephanie will show you. But of course there is also room for some general questions, for example on something you noticed during your events, or perhaps some experiences you want to share with us. Then I will take over and I will talk a little bit more about the new publication channel we are using, which is called BrightTalk. And to conclude with this session, we will give you some very important updates on the HP Discover Conference, the nominations for the board, the advanced training courses, and the Knock a Little Louder campaign. So very important to stay tuned and also be available during this meeting at the end for receiving the very important Vivit updates. And of course, after this session, again, this recording will be available via our Vivit website. Well, Stephanie, I will make you our presenter, and please take us a little bit further into the Vivit website.
Great, thanks, Martijn.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. And feel free to type in your questions as I go along. Martijn's going to look for raised hands, or you can type in your questions. We can also open you up for, live questions and discussions as well. So, great. So I'm just going to go over some few highlights here that I think are important. And if I missed something or you want to know more about it, just let us know. So the first thing I wanted to show you is to get to your groups, you would click here under Groups under My Profile after you're logged in. So I'm going to click there. And you are part of a group called Chapter Leaders, which is a private group. And this is maybe a review for some of you, but we keep a lot of good information here and try to keep it updated. So the first thing I wanted to show you here is this Vivit Speakers Bureau Search in the Database. This is really a great tool to have. And what we've done now is made this information part of everybody's profile. So every member has the opportunity to fill this in, and we're encouraging this too in the Knock a Little Louder campaign. So hopefully this will even grow the database more. And if you can't find what you're looking for here, you can always email me, and I can export it from the back end, see what we can do, and then I can also reach out to our Vivit members or folks at HP to help. So just, I'll give you an example here. So let's say you're wanting to run a service management webinar, for example. As chapter leaders, you can run webinars as well. The SIG leaders typically do. Let's go here. So here's my topic I'm interested in. And would they like to, let's find whoever would like to conduct a webinar, and then hit continue. And the database should pull up some folks who have opted in to do this. It even shows where they're located in the world, which is really nice too, since we have currently 71 chapters in 25 countries. So it's nice to have someone in your neck of the woods also to present, if possible. And who knows, they could even come and perhaps speak at a chapter meeting too. So this gives you a list of the folks here, and then if you just click on a person that you see that you would be interested or in your area, and then it gives them the contact information and more information about that person. So I wanted to point that out again, and this is only on this page, that this is only accessible by chapter leaders. So I wanted to show you that. So there's two other things I wanted to point out on the chapter leader group here. Under these group pages here, these are files of files. So here, all the quarterly chapter and SIG leader meeting archives are kept, the slide decks and the recordings. Vivit leadership trainings that we've had prior to this one, all the slide decks, recordings are kept here. And when you click on that, it just opens up the list of files and the links. The Vivit leader updates, I'm going to come back to marketing materials. We kept all the old ones archived here, but what we're doing now, as I'll scroll down here, is we are keeping them down here in a blog. So you can access them here as well by clicking on them here. It lights up, but if I clicked on it, it would open. So I just wanted to show you that. So if you ever are looking for information. Okay, so Vivit marketing materials. What we keep here is, and especially for new leaders, join Vivit Leader for Letter for Leaders. This is just basically inviting people to join Vivit and join your chapter or SIG, and you can feel free to personalize it and change it. So that's there for you, an electronic Vivit member brochure. But also, too, if you ever need some actual brochures and Vivit collateral, just let me know, and we'll send it to you for an event. And then some other materials, header, logo, And this request to contact non-chapter members. You actually don't have to use this if you don't want to. You can actually email me. And what that's for is, say you're having an event that borders 3 states, especially like in the East Coast. And you can invite not only people in Massachusetts, but, you know, Rhode Island, Connecticut. I can actually send an email out for you. So I always just ask leaders, send me what you'd like me to send out and who you want me to target, and I can send that email for you. So that's what this request is for. So you can either fill that out or you can just email me. So we'll go back to the group home, which is the chapter leader page. The other thing I wanted to show you here is the chapter SIG leader meeting and webinar materials. So we keep a lot of the Vivit overview slide deck that you, with the latest, greatest updates on it to share with your chapter and SIG members is here. I try to send it to you also in a good luck email, but we also keep it here if you ever need it outside an event. Thanks to one of our leaders, Laura Walker, we have webcast instructions for chapter meetings. So if you'd like to add a virtual component to your live meeting for people who are farther away and can't make it in, but they can still be part of it, there's instructions on how to do that. And this GoToMeeting tool that we're actually using today is for leaders. And so a lot of chapter leaders have chosen to do that. It really it gets a lot more people to your events. And they can ask their questions live. So this is what it looks like when it opens up here. So I'll just close that here. Okay, so here's a invitation template for you that you can use. Here's a one slide about Vivit if you have time limitations. Here's the Vivit slide template, a blank slide template for your presenters to use. An event checklist, how to set up an event, how to set up a webinar. Those are kind of nice to have, and then you'll get in your own groove. Sign-in sheets and email templates, to get the word out about your events. So there's a first one and a second one. And then here's an example survey. It's always nice to have a survey for feedback at the end of your event. So that's there too. So those are some things I wanted to point out there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Arizona chapter here and just kind of go over a few of the group admin option tools. I was not going to show you today how to set up an event. If you would like for me to review that, just let Martine know in the questions pane or raise your hand, and I'll be happy to go over that. But I was not going to review that today. But if you do have questions, definitely happy to address those. So the one thing I wanted to mention here, it's a new, we're into our new year, just this homepage options here. If you click on that, this is how you can update your page, and I'm just trying to get the word out to leaders to update their pages, new year, any new things they want to add, changes. So all the defaults here stay the same. And to make your additions, you'd upload pictures here. You can see in the Arizona chapter they've inserted a picture here, and you'd insert your picture here for things that you've uploaded. And then down here is where you type in your text. And then when you're done, you just click Submit. So it's very easy to do. I won't, of course, do that. Let's see. Okay. If you'd like to change the layout of the page, you can do that here as well. Okay. So what are these custom pages in these file libraries? You always hear me mention these as a follow-up. So say you've had a chapter meeting, and we do these for the SIG webinars. First thing you would do is go to this file library here, and you would create a collection or a file to keep your, your slide decks in. So these are all collections that have been created. What do those look like? We'll just go in here with the edit mode. This is what it would look like when you add a new collection as well. You just type in the file and then submit. So we'll go back here. And so now I can add files to these. So how do I do that? Let's go back here. Actually, here we go. So actually, I'm going to use the Arizona chapter meeting files here. Actually, no, the Agile DevOps events. I'm going to click on Manage Files, and this is where you upload files. I always save them as a PDF, in a PDF format, and then you just add a new item, and you just name it what you'd like. You can give it the same name as your file, and here it just tells you, you browse, you find it, and I agree and submit. And so I'm not going to actually change anything there. Just wanted to show you that. And so then it shows up here. So now I've got this file loaded. Great. What do I do next? Well, this is where you want to come and create a custom page. And I'll show you where this shows up. And this is a great thing to have, especially if you've done recordings, you have slide decks. It's all on one page in one place with a link you can send to everybody in your chapter or SIG. So you can create a new custom page, but I'm going to show you one that's already been done here. It looks exactly the same. What you do is you just type in the title of your custom page. The defaults all stay the same. Oh, and here's all these file collections we created. So you just click the one that you want to be part of this page. You type in any information or put links in about the event. And if you have a recording, we can upload the recordings here as well. I'll also put the link on this page. And then just click Submit. And so what does that look like when we're done? I'm just going to go back to the group home, the main front page of Arizona here. And the group pages are all up here. So this page that we just created with the files, or the file attached. Let's see, it should have a drop-down menu here. Oh, here they are. And then you can just click on it, and here it is. And then here's the file that, if you click on it, it opens. So everything's on one page. And the link that you would set out is the one that up here in blue. And that's what you can send out to your members. Hey, you made the event. You want to see the slide decks? Great. You missed it. Check it out. Here it is. And so that's the link you would give them. So that's what that is. So I think this is really a neat tool to have. Okay, so here is where we create an event. But what I'd like to do is go into View Dates and Events here. There are some really neat options here. So the first thing here is, as most of you know, is let's just go down here. Here's your event. This is to edit the event, and so this is what setting up a new event looks like too, but this one's just filled in. And you need to make a change in the agenda all the way down here. Oh gosh, I need to change the time here. You'd make your changes and then click Submit. And that's all you do, but we won't touch anything there. Okay, so you want to know who's coming to your meeting. You can see that in two places, as you know. So, oops, that went ahead of me. Sorry. Right here, Manage Registrations, you'd click on that, and I'll show you another place you can see this. And you would click on Show All Registrations and then Go. And there's two ways to use this tool. One, you can export the registration list, and that makes a really great sign-in sheet. It comes out as a CSV file that you can save as a Excel file. So that's one way to make a sign-in sheet as well. Additionally, to account for people's attendance, you would just go in and click on Edit. And unfortunately, for this website for the leaders, you can only do it one person at a time. So then you click Yes, I attended the event, and then Submit for each person. The other option, and Lindsay and myself are happy to help you guys, just send us a list. From the back end of the website, we have everybody lined up, and we can just click everybody off in one fell swoop, and it doesn't take very much time at all. And we're happy to do that. But a lot of leaders prefer to do this themselves, so whatever you'd like to do. So I wanted to show you that. Okay, so I had mentioned here you can export to see who's coming. Another way to see who's coming is I'm going to go back to Group Home here. Let's see, is there any events here? I don't think so. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop out of this on the community calendar. And if you're a leader and this is your event, you can actually, I'm just going to go into Sweden's event today. You can view the people who have registered, but only the leaders and the admins can see this. And this will also be on your chapter page as an event. That one event had already occurred, so it's not there anymore. So, and you can just click here. And what this is, you can't export this, but it gives a nice overview, an alphabetical listing to see who's coming. So if you just want to, have a quick glance, that's nice too. So it looks like they're having a great attendance. So I'll get back. Oops, that popped me out of the website. Let me pop back in. Okay, great. So I'm going to go back to Arizona page. And I'm going to go back to View Dates and Events. This other option here is to add sessions. And so this is a really handy tool. So add a new session. It's basically like setting up your event. But when people go to register, they'll have to choose which session they want to be in. So why would you use this? I know a lot of chapters have used this. If they're having a live event and a virtual event, especially if you're having a lunch or a dinner and you need a head count. So you want to know, and you have who's coming where and how many you have. So you can set up one for, who's coming to the live meeting and save that one and set up another session, virtual event. And then there's other chapters who will have, two big meetings or keynote speakers, and then they'll have 2 or 3 breakout sessions with 3 sessions at the same time. And you can set that all up here too and have people opt in if you need head counts for that. So that's another way to use this tool. So you would just type in the name of the session. Of course, just follow the formats here. Type in the information, a little bit about what it is, and then submit. And then your first session's created, and you would just do that for each one. So very easy. And I'm always happy to help if you need any help. All right, so we'll just back out of this. Okay, so those are some really neat tools I wanted to point out as well. Okay, so photo management, manage photo albums. This is very user-friendly. You just click on this. You can upload photos here. You can also do this over here in the photo gallery and manage it there. Blog management. I'm going to come actually back to that. The Arizona chapter doesn't have any blogs, but they have some great forums to show you. So while we're here, I wanted to show you the forums. So what you do for forums on your page, you create a category, and within the categories, you create the forums. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to actually scroll down to some that have already been created. So the Arizona chapter has forums on meeting ideas, specific topics, and it looks like job finding. So these have all been created here. So let's just click on one that's already been created. Okay, so it looks like Mark created this main one, and then you can actually send out this permalink to your members, and they can actually then reply, and or you can reply to it, to anyone down here, and you can see he used this to get feedback for future meetings here. So it's a good way to use forums. So wanted to show you that. And then you can add more content when you come in this way. So you'd add a category to create a forum, and then you'd add a new forum to the category. And then you'd go to your main page, find the forum that you would like to add to on here, click on it, and then you can type in the information that you would like to. So that's kind of how the forums work. So I wanted to show you that. And it's up to the leaders, and this is a great tool to use to really get your chapter members more engaged. And they are actually sent an email, a link, if as long as they have their email options on for the website, that forums have been created. So that's a great tool. So as far as blogs, I'm actually going to go back to the chapter leader page to show you how these are done, since that's what we've used here. These are more for conversational things. So what do you do for a blog? Same thing. You can view the blogs here or start a new blog. And once you start a new blog, you can add to it. So let's go here and view the blogs. And we've created a couple different categories, the leader updates and chapter leaders. So the categories are there, but say I want to, add something to it. It's kind of like the forums. Once it comes up, you would go down to the main page and find it. See down here, view all blogs, chapter leader or leader update, and you can add a new post, edit post, delete post. It's all right here. So, and I guess you could have done it the other way too when we saw it. So that's all you do for blogs, and then you can see all the leader updates are all here. So we keep them all here now. So, and then another good way to engage your chapter and SIG members. So, okay. So member management. I'm going to go back to the Arizona chapter. Let's see. And I just picked Arizona because it was handy and at the top and has great examples. Okay, member management. You can view the current members here, or you can view them here under group directory. And that's just a nice alphabetical listing. And what does that look like? And then you can click on any one individual. Oh gosh, I need to get in touch with Allie or Ellie. Oh, here's the email address. I'll email them. If I need information, it's right here. But sometimes you would like to have a bird's eye view of your chapter members, especially so if you'd like to see what their HP software specialties are to help you to, or their positions, to know how to gauge your chapter meeting. So you just export it here, and I won't, and then it'll just ask me to, it's just preparing the data, and then it'll export, click here to download, and it will be a CSV file that you can save as an Excel file, but we won't do that. So that's what that is. Member communication. So this is very important. Email all group members or message them. Messaging is a message within the Vivit website. So they'll get an email that they have a message, or you can email all your group members directly with one email. Very easy to do. It's text only. If you have something fancier to send HTML style, I can do that from the back end of the website. So you just type in your subject, what you'd like to say, and then you can preview the email here. And if you like the way it looks, you send it, or you can edit it and go through that process again. So, okay, let's go back to our groups here. All right, so I think that covers about everything I wanted to review on the group admin options. If I went over something too fast, or I missed something, or you've been having trouble, or want to know more about something, just please type in your question or raise your hand, and we'll definitely show you. But one thing I wanted to show you, especially if you're a new leader or just trying to get ideas, this community calendar here is a great tool to use. You can see, all the current events you can see, but you can also go to the past events here. And you can see the topics that people have discussed. Let's see, let's go into this meeting on Deep Dive into Agile. You're thinking of that. Well, I can go into this event. I can look at their agenda. I'm not sure it has any information about their speakers, but I sure could contact Scott to get more information about it. So you can use that as a great tool to find content and speakers there too. So that's available for you. And one other thing I wanted to show you before we end it here for questions is, do you see this pop-up here? This is something to me that's not real obvious, and I try to point this out when I talk to new leaders. This is a nice, when you click in, when you're just kind of browsing, to have that pop up. What you do is when you're setting up the event, it's not called pop-up, it's called short description. So you're creating a new event, which I'll just show you really quickly. We'll just open up a new event here. Here we go, add a new event. And that pop-up is typed in right here, if you guys can see that. So this is where you type that. To me, that wasn't real obvious when we first started, so I tried to point that out. And that's optional, so it's another great tool that you have. So, that kind of concludes what I was planning to show you guys today as just another brief overview. I didn't know if anybody had any questions, Martijn.
Yes, we had one question from David Hunt, and he was wondering, would you really upload a webinar recording, which can be very massive, or just put a link to the recording, or just use a link to the recording?
Oh, a really good question. So what we do is, it depends on the tools. So now Vivit has two tools, right, for webinars. We have what's called, the GoToMeeting tool like today. And so I'm actually recording this, and it goes to my hard drive. And then and I can help the leaders with this. Then we upload our webinars to something called Box.com. And then our content manager places those on the website. With the BrightTalk tool, it's on our website within minutes. And so I was just going to show you examples of that. And so what we then do is we put the link. What we do for the GoToMeeting is have to make a custom page and a link. This is all kind of on the back end. And so we're happy to do that for the leaders. BrightTalk shows right up here. So here's the BrightTalk webinars here. And so they show up immediately after they're recording with some, I think it's JavaScript that's put in there that directs it here. And then down below that are all the other webinars that we've had with links. So, and if you click on that, it'll open up the recording. And so then we grab that link. Oh, shoot, I didn't want to do that. But you can see here's the recording, and it will come up, but I'll just get out of that. And so, for example, what do we do next? Special interest groups. This is where we do this a lot. I'm going to show you the Service Management SIG as an example. On the group pages, we've already created a custom page by the time the recording's ready to go. So our content manager will tie that link into the file directory that we've already created. And so we have the link here. There's the slide deck. And then we also put the link up here. So that's a really good question, yeah. So hopefully that answered the question.
Great, thank you very much. I've got a second question from you, from Paul Peisner, and he asks, and he wonders if there's a character count limit on published blogs. So is there a kind of a limitation on what is possible on producing blogs? Do you know that by heart?
No, I do not. I'll find out for sure, but I've never had an issue. The only issue we have sometimes is with titles of things, character counts there. But as far as the blog itself, no. It seems to be endless. So I guess, Paul, I wondered if you've run into any issues with that. I've not had any issues arise to date, but I'll find out a character count and get back to you. Okay.
I've got another question from you. Just let me see. A question also from Chuck coming in, and he asks if we collect new member info at an event, for example, do we have a way of manually signing them up to our chapter meetings from this side, or isn't that possible, and do we need to do it through staff, for example?
You have to send it to us, unfortunately. There's no way to enter them from the front end, and we're happy to do that. So you have a lot of new members who've attended your chapter meeting. Just send us their first name, last name, email address, and we'll not only put them in as a member, and we'll send them an email, telling them that we signed them up. We'll let them know what their default password is and the username we gave them, and send them a reset option so they can change both of those. And then we will also make sure that they were signed up for your event as well to account for them registering and for their attendance. So, and that unfortunately can only be done from the back end of the website. So,
Okay.
but we're happy to help. Yeah, good question.
Okay.
Good question.
Thank you very much for asking or answering, Stephanie. I've got also a question. If I want to share some materials with other leaders, who do I need to contact, or how could I do that?
Leaders within your chapter or SIG, or other leaders?
Other leaders.
Okay. Well, I guess hopefully you know who the leader is, and if you don't, the best way, I'm spoiled because I have all the groups here in the groups. To find the leaders you'd like to get in touch with, just go to local chapters here and view all the local chapters, and then click on the chapter that you're interested in connecting with the leader there. So say, you know, I want to know more, get in touch with the Arkansas leaders. Then here they are right here, and I can click on, you know, Stephanie here. And her email address should be right here, and then you should be able to email them. So hopefully that's a good way. Or if you also can't find it or are having trouble, I can connect you. But that's the best way to find it on here.
Okay. Thank you very much. No questions in the question pane anymore.
Okay.
You've addressed them all.
Okay, yes. And if y'all think of something later, just, you know, feel free to email me or call me. So happy to help. All right.
Right.
Well, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Stephanie, for talking a little bit more about how to use the Vivit website for the different local and as well as events for special interest groups. What I would like to talk with you about is BrightTalk, already shortly mentioned by Stephanie answering one of your questions. What is BrightTalk? BrightTalk is a new platform available in which you can present virtual presentations, you can organize all kinds of events, and you can do that within different kind of channels. So, for example, Vivit has an own channel on the BrightTalk platform, which is available for all the Vivit members. But what is also possible to do is to attract, for example, new attendees to your events, is to also commercialize them, or let's say make a kind of a public relation campaign about it into other kinds of channels. For example, if you're talking about ALM, you could try to find out if you can cooperate with one of the ALM channels available. Or the other way around is also nice. You could even point your members to some interesting ALM presentations which you find on the BrightTalk platform. So how could you use BrightTalk to increase the return on your event? Let me first talk a little bit more about what BrightTalk is compared to GoToMeeting and what we already have there. So it's still possible with BrightTalk to record all kinds of presentations, which is quite nice. It's also very powerful in embedding the presentations or recordings of your presentations into different kind of websites, or to revert to it with hyperlinks, which is quite nice. It has the same kind of questionnaire features as with GoToMeeting. So with BrightTalk, it is possible to also put some questions to your attendees before the meeting. So there's a small difference that with BrightTalk it's only possible to ask the possible attendees before they attend the actual meeting some interesting questions. Then there is a kind of a voting system available, which makes it possible and what you can compare to the polling system with GoToMeeting. So during an event it's possible to vote on, for example, an opinion or a statement you made, or a new result you find from a very interesting investigation on the developments around cloud, which you would like your opinion and to reuse it during your presentation. And a new feature which will be available for you using BrightTalk is that you can also attach documents or links to your presentations, meaning that as soon as people are signed on with BrightTalk, they can watch those kind of attachments during your meeting or immediately after the meeting and the session for additional information. For example, information about your next event, information about how to join your chapter, information about, for example, some background stuff which you used in your presentation but isn't a little bit too comprehensive to talk about it in only the hour you have available. And to close with, it also has a very neat rating system, so afterwards you can immediately access and get a clue about how your audience did perceive your presentation. And to conclude with, what is also interesting is, as earlier mentioned, the concept of channels. So you can publish and record your presentation in the Vivit channel, but it's also possible to cooperate with specific location or special interest group channels which are available on the BrightTalk platform. The only thing which is not possible and which is very good to notice is that with BrightTalk you can only give a presentation by means of a presentation you have uploaded 15 minutes up front. Which means that of course the option of sharing applications or going through all kinds of applications is not possible yet with this new platform BrightTalk. So how could you use BrightTalk to increase the return on your event? Well, first of all, you can attract new audiences. It's now also available to post your presentations or your future events on other channels from BrightTalk, which are pretty neat. You could also sign up on other channels for your own if you are especially interested in, for example, big data or cloud, the latest on cloud developments. And of course, it's also very ideal to use the links which are available with BrightTalk with your, let's say, social media campaigns. Nowadays, it's very important if you organize an event to start also 3-4 weeks upfront with getting some real traction about getting people to sign up for your event by all kinds of networking tools like Facebook, LinkedIn, or Google. So using BrightTalk, it would be much more easier to attract new members and keep making all kinds of campaigns for your current members. The second one, which is also interesting, is you can increase the number of viewings because your recorded session will be easily available and accessible after your meeting. And it will not only be possible for you as a leader to see who actually attended the meeting, but later on it will also be possible for you to see who did view your recorded session, for example 3 or 4 weeks after your actual session. And this information is available via our Vivit staff, and which might be very interesting also for you. What we also advise you to do with BrightTalk is use the questionnaire option. More and more it's used also for GoToMeeting, but it's very powerful, for example, to get some feedback on future topics, to align on what is really going on within your chapter. It's a very good and powerful option also available within BrightTalk to let's say keep the audience awake and also keep them interested in your chapter. And last but not least, there are some interesting ways to track and monitor your sessions, and this is, for example, a summary chart available after a BrightTalk session in which you can see the pre-registrations, how many showed up, the viewings, how many were live available, the recorded one, what happens during and with the questions, and what were the votes on the different kind of questions you prepared up front, which were indicated and used during your session. And you could also see how many people opened which kind of attachments which you made available with your BrightTalk session. So some very neat and good functionality for you available to make a more success out of your BrightTalk, or out of your virtual session at least. Let me now dive into the website itself so that you get a little bit more of a feeling how it works. This is how BrightTalk looks like, and you always have to sign up at two kinds of phases, two stages. The first stage is if you're never logged into BrightTalk, just log in and you will be entering the website. The second sign-in procedure will be launched as soon as you have registered for a specific session. So if you have registered for a specific session and you would like to attend it, you will get a pop-up with some additional questions you can answer, and then you will be able to attend that session, as well as you will be subscribed for a new channel. For example, if I want to browse a little bit more on BrightTalk about other channels, I can go here to the Explore Content button within the BrightTalk site. It gives me all kinds of webinars and videos, channels, and summits. Summits are, let's say, kind of a roadshows, virtual roadshows specified around one theme. So, for example, if you are into cloud computing, you can also make your presentation available or part of one of the summits of BrightTalk. But for example, if you want to know a little bit more about channels, you just press the channel part and you will say, well, for example, I want to know if there is a kind of a service management channel available which might be having interesting stuff here available. And of course, it's then available for all kinds of vendors or users on a worldwide level. As soon as you hit or want to join a session, you will also be a member of this new channel which will be available for you. So what you also can see is, just let me log into my own. What you can see over here is I'm at this moment subscribed to two kinds of channel. The HP Software Partner channel, which contains all kinds of interesting presentations for partners of HP, but also the Vivit Worldwide channel. And if you access the Vivit Worldwide channel, you have two kinds of sessions available, the live and recorded one, which are already available, and you've got the upcoming new sessions which are available. And of course, again, these kind of sessions are sessions which are only presentations, and it's not available and not possible to share your screen or your application. This is a typical example of some questions you could address to your attendees up front. So for example, for the architecture for failure or disaster recovery presentation earlier held. If you want to see it or if you want to attend it, also after the session, because this session was executed in February, you still can ask some interesting questions. And what I always say is don't ask more than 4 or 5 questions, otherwise it might take a while before everyone pops in. For example, if you have if you want to start at 2 o'clock and everyone most of the time signs in 2 o'clock or 5 minutes after, and they first have to fill in an extensive form of 20 questions, everyone will probably pop on 15 minutes too late, or will probably not attend your webinar anyhow. So this is some interesting stuff for you available, in which you can access and how you can also subscribe to other interesting channels. For example, again, I can go to the service management channel again. Well, just let me see. The impact of cloud technologies on ITSM, which is quite important, and if I would like to attend, then you get a message, and then, well, you got some more confirmation coming up to you where it is, and you can also add it to your calendar, which is pretty nice. And what you also immediately see here, there's a new channel for you available at the left, and you will also receive some newsletters, if you will like, about some new sessions available within the IT Service Management channel session. You can also, of course, unsubscribe to it, and then you will only have the channels available for you, which are the most important ones. Last but not least, which is quite interesting and also good to know, is that of course you can it's still possible also to edit your profile and make those data available which are really important or not, or even that you can change your email preferences over here so that you don't get messages if you sign up too much channels, that you got too much messages on a daily basis on what's new and hot. Last but not least, what is also interesting for you to know is before you go and use BrightTalk, there's some interesting stuff available here at the bottom of the site under the Academy part. Just go to Academy, and there is some interesting stuff available on below the how-to tutorials, and there is a lot of stuff available on how to embed BrightTalk sessions or channels, how to upload your slides, what kind of reports are available, how to create surveys or questionnaires, and creating even your own BrightTalk channel if you would like to do so. Of course, there is also some interesting beginner's guide available, and it's all available for you under the Academy part of the BrightTalk site. Well, also what is available is this kind of embedding is available with the website, in which you can easily see how you can embed the different kind of sessions into the Vivit website, as well as your own website and your own sessions. Well, let's get back to the slides. I'm sorry. So, well. Last but not least, here also available where you can find the tutorials on BrightTalk and some tips and tricks which are specific for BrightTalk but also for GoToMeeting. Also, always share your slides also as a backup copy up front with the people who you are presenting with. Log in at least 10 minutes before you start. Check your equipment, which sounds a little bit strange, but always try to do a kind of a practice together with your co-leader or with our staff, and test your equipment also really good up front, which is quite important to do so. Any questions on this Bright Talk part or about the new platform we would like to use? Stephanie?
Okay, I don't see any at this time. But feel free to raise your hand or type in your questions. Okay.
Well, just you could, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, none so far.
Okay. Well, just if you have a question, it could also be asked after the Vivit updates. Let's move on to the Vivit updates then, which are pretty important.
Martijn, there is one question that just came in.
Yep.
Before we move on.
Yeah.
It says, if we want to run a live demo, then we have to stay with GoToMeeting. Is that correct?
Yes, if you have a live demonstration and if you want to share screens, you have to use GoToMeeting. Yes, definitely.
Okay, thanks.
Well, John, could you tell us a little bit more about the upcoming board nominations, or actually the nominations already available? And could you update us on where we are?
Yes, I can.
Please.
Thank you. So as you are all aware, on the 5th of March, we officially opened up the nominations for the 3 opening board positions that will basically become vacated at the end of the month of May. The nominations are open through March 25th, so time is of the essence. We are looking to have hopefully a variety of folks from across the globe submit their nominations or be submitted. The elections, based off of the timing of the 25th of March closing for the nominations, would start on April 4th, and will be announced in that upcoming newsletter for that period, as well as be on the website. We will maintain that the elections open until, at a minimum, that we have an open quorum of 10% of the votes received in. And then from a timing perspective, by late May, the announcement on the results will be published in the June newsletter, with the expectations that those new board members would attend the meeting in Las Vegas, which would be a precursor to the actual Discover meeting, and those dates are actually June 9th and 10th. So just as a quick timeline summary, the nominations are open. We are starting to see some nominations come in. We would like to see more, just so we have a wide variety of candidates to choose from, and then ultimately the candidates to present to the overall membership to be voted on. With that being
Thank you very much, John.
Do we have any questions?
Anything else? Just let me see. Well, what I can say, being part of the board, is that it's really a good team and also a good way to advance your career in also discussing all kinds of topics which you probably are not familiar with from day-to-day life. So it's really also being gathered as a kind of a learning experience. And as you can see here at the slide at the bottom, you can just on our home website, beneath the online surveys, you can nominate members, Vivit members, being or future board member colleagues. So keep these nominations coming up, please. And another important campaign which we are addressing at this moment is the profile. The profile is crucial for us. The profile gives us in-depth insight in where we are growing, what kind of people are attending. So a lot of the stats which we on a regular basis provide you as a leader, but as well as to other organizations, and which are also important to sign up our strategy for future month, is that we know where people are living and how much they are attending events. So this Knock a Little Bit Louder campaign is very important to keep people focused on updating their profile. And March 1st we had the first drawing, and Marie from Sweden did win a very nice pair of beads. So please also really appreciate it if you could change your profile or update your profile, but also please circulate this to your members within your group so that we get good data, because good data is vital to also align our strategy on. So thank you very much for your attention, and it is still being run, this campaign, and the last drawing will be May 1st this year, and hopefully you will be one of the winners of the very cool Mr. Beats headphones. And well, if you go to the website, you just press about the knocking on the knocking lady, you will just be able to go to the right spot as soon as you are signed in, and you can just update your membership information. Another important event coming up is, of course, HP Discover, June 11th to June 13th, Las Vegas. What is very important here is that you can really save some money by registering to this event using the Vivit code. So please use this Vivit code for yourself as well as your members. It will be really appreciated if you reuse this slide, or just also message your members that if they use the Vivit code, they get an additional discount on the entrance fees going to Las Vegas, and let's say it's quite a good amount nowadays. So please use this code Vivit. That's the only way to being entitled to the discount going to this great conference and meeting also other Vivit members, and getting addressed some new neat IT developments. To conclude with, Laura, could you tell us a little bit more about the upcoming Vivit Advanced Training courses?
Sure, I'll keep it brief since we're after the top of the hour here. We're going to be doing some advanced training courses. They're going to be held on Tuesday before the evening opening conference sessions start. We are still unsure of the exact start time, but that should be announced any day now. It'll be sometime starting between 8 and 11 a.m. and each course will be 4 hours. Mark, if you could advance slides, we have 11 courses that are going to be offered this year, which is very exciting. So they're across a variety of topics. You can see on the screen here which topics we're going to be offering. Previously, these courses were $500, but we were able to get sponsorship this year, so we're able to offer those for only $99 each, which is an incredible value. So we're expecting a great turnout, and I'd encourage you to promote these trainings for a great price to all your chapter members. If you need any more information about it, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to send you information. You can also find information on our website. There's banner ads all over. Easy to find and click on for more information. To register for the courses, when you go in to register for the conference, you'll see the option to sign up for those courses during the conference registration process.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Any other questions, as we are over the top of the hours? So any other questions based on what we have discussed during this meeting?
I don't see any so far. Okay. I don't see any right now.
No raised hands also?
No. Yes. No. Okay. No. I think everyone's set. Okay. No questions at this time. Yeah.
Well, great. Thank you very much for attending. And if you need this kind of information also on a later stage, you can just contact us, or you can just go to the recorded meeting, and this information will be easy accessible and available for you. Thank you very much for attending. Thank you very much for the time you dedicate in preserving the chapter you're leading. And hopefully we will see you in Las Vegas in June. Thank you very much.